Imagine a single photograph that could tell the story of an entire military program, revealing secrets, ambitions, and breakthroughs all at once. On January 24, 2026, China's Chengdu Aircraft Corporation quietly released a set of images from a flight test campaign. Most of them were routine, but one immediately caught the attention of analysts around the world. A J20A stealth fighter flying in bright yellow primer. Now, this isn't just paint. In military aviation, yellow primer isn't for show. It signals production, acceptance, or validation flights. In other words, this isn't a prototype being tested for the first time. This is the aircraft as it's being prepared for actual operational service. But there's more. Look closely at the exhaust nozzles in the photo. Their geometry matches the long-awaited WS-15 engine, the power plant China has been chasing for decades. This single detail tells experts something huge. The J20A may finally be flying with the engine it was originally designed to use, unlocking the full potential of China's most advanced stealth fighter. So here's the question that sets the stage for the next part of our story. What if a single image could reveal that China's most advanced fighter is finally reaching its full potential? That's exactly what happened here, and it marks the opening of a new chapter in Chinese military aviation. To understand why that yellow-primed J20A is such a big deal, we need to go back to one of the biggest challenges China faced: engines. Developing a fifth-generation fighter isn't just about stealthy shapes or advanced avionics, it's about having an engine powerful and reliable enough to match the airframe's design. When the J20 first entered service, it didn't have its own homegrown engine. Instead, it relied on Russian AL-31 engines, which were never meant for the aircraft's long-range, high-speed missions. Later, China swapped in domestic WS-10 engines, which were better, but still not enough to unlock the fighter's full capabilities. Why does this matter? Without the right engine, the J-20 couldn't truly supercruise, that is, fly at supersonic speeds without burning excessive fuel. Its stealth profile, range, and ability to sustain high-speed patrols were all limited. In short, the J-20 was operational, but only on paper could it perform like a top-tier fifth-generation fighter. Think of it like buying a sports car with a powerful engine on the showroom sticker, but under the hood, it's actually running on a standard sedan motor. It looks impressive, but performance is restricted. For years, this is exactly what China faced. The airframe had potential, but the propulsion system held it back. This historical bottleneck sets the stage for the WS-15 engine, the breakthrough that could finally let the J-20A perform as it was always meant to. In other words, the next chapter isn't just about paint or images. It's about finally solving the problem that limited China's fifth-generation ambitions. If the J-20's earlier engines were like putting a small motor in a sports car, the WS-15 turbofan is the engine the fighter was built for, a true powerhouse designed to unleash the aircraft's full potential. Development reportedly began in the early 1990s, making this one of the longest and most ambitious aerospace projects in China's history. For decades, engineers wrestled with extreme challenges in materials, turbine cooling, and manufacturing precision, all to build an engine capable of powering a fifth-generation stealth fighter. So, what makes the WS-15 special? For starters, it's a low-bypass afterburning turbofan, designed for high thrust rather than fuel efficiency, with a bypass ratio of about 0.25. That means it's focused on speed and performance, not economy, perfect for supercruise and sustained supersonic flight. Turbine inlet temperatures reach an estimated 1850 Kelvin, which requires advanced alloys and precision cooling to prevent damage. Physically, it's no small feat. About 5 meters long, 1 meter in diameter, and weighing around 1,600 kilograms. Each engine reportedly produces between 161 and 180 kN of thrust with afterburner, allowing the J20A to finally approach, or even exceed, the performance of some of the world's top fighters in terms of speed and range. But the real breakthrough isn't just raw power. A more capable engine means the aircraft can sustain long missions, climb quickly, and carry extra systems without being held back by limitations in propulsion. It's like upgrading that sports car with the exact engine the designers imagined, so every curve, every gear, every aerodynamic feature finally works as intended. The WS-15 isn't just a piece of hardware, it's the key that could turn the J-20A from a capable plane into a frontline, high-end stealth fighter ready for the challenges of modern air combat. An engine alone doesn't make a fighter great. To truly unleash the WS-15, the J-20A's airframe had to evolve. engineers made subtle but critical changes that dramatically improve performance, efficiency, and combat capability. One of the most noticeable upgrades is the raised section behind the cockpit canopy. At first glance, it may seem minor, just a small bulge on the fuselage, but it smooths airflow across the top of the aircraft, reducing drag where the canopy meets the body. At supersonic speeds, even tiny aerodynamic inefficiencies can cost precious performance. By refining this area, the J20A can sustain higher speeds more efficiently, rather than relying on short bursts of afterburner. The redesign also increases internal volume. This extra space isn't just for show, it can hold additional fuel, advanced avionics, or upgraded electronic warfare systems. More fuel means longer missions and greater range, while more space for electronics allows for future proofing, giving the fighter room to grow as China develops new sensors, radars, and countermeasure systems. Think of it like renovating a high-performance car. You don't just swap in a bigger engine, you also improve the suspension, aerodynamics, and storage so the vehicle can handle the engine's power safely and efficiently. The J20A's refinements are exactly this kind of holistic upgrade. The airframe and engine are designed to work together. These improvements mean the J20A isn't just faster, it's more capable across the board, from longer patrols over contested regions to sustained high-speed flights that were impossible with earlier engines. And it sets up the next big question: how all of this translates into real-world combat capability. Now that the J20A has both a powerful engine and a refined airframe, the question becomes, what does this actually mean on the battlefield? The answer is a dramatic increase in mission capability and operational flexibility. With the WS-15 and optimized fuselage, the J20A can now handle long-distance patrols, sustain high-speed interception missions, and operate effectively over contested regions without needing constant refueling. Imagine trying to run a marathon with one lung. That was the J20 with older engines. The WS-15 gives it the endurance and stamina it needed to perform like a true fifth-generation fighter. Extended missions aren't just about speed or range, they're about staying stealthy, reliable, and mission-ready. Earlier engines limited the aircraft's ability to supercruise, which meant pilots either had to burn extra fuel or sacrifice performance. Now the J20A can fly longer distances at high speed while maintaining a lower infrared and radar signature, crucial for evading modern air defenses. It's not perfect. The WS-15 doesn't yet provide thrust vectoring like the F-22's engines, so the J20A may still lag in close-range dogfighting and post-stall maneuverability. But in terms of long-range missions, high-speed interception, and electronic warfare support, it has narrowed a significant gap with top Western fighters. Think of it like upgrading from a fast, short-range sports car to a long-distance racing machine. It can now go farther, faster, and handle challenging terrain, even if it's not as agile in tight corners. This marks a shift in China's air combat doctrine. The J20A is moving from being an experimental showcase to a practical, operationally credible weapon. To truly understand the significance of the J20A's upgrades, it helps to compare it to the F-22 Raptor, America's benchmark fifth-generation fighter. The F-22 is powered by two Pratt & Whitney F119 engines, each producing over 156 kN of thrust and equipped with thrust vectoring. This allows the Raptor to execute extreme maneuvers at high angles of attack, giving it unmatched agility in dogfights. The WS-15 doesn't yet offer thrust vectoring, so the J20A likely can't match the F-22 in close-range aerial combat. But in other areas, the picture is different. With two WS-15 engines, the J20A's total thrust rivals or even exceeds the F-22, particularly for long-range, high-speed operations. Supercruise, sustained supersonic flight, and long-distance patrols are now within reach. This comparison highlights a strategic trade-off. The F-22 retains edge case advantages in agility, while the J20A now narrows the gap in propulsion, range, and operational flexibility. In real-world missions, this means China's stealth fighter is no longer just a symbolic program. It's now a credible tool for long-range interception, patrolling contested airspaces, and penetrating defended regions at speed. Think of it like two athletes. One excels in sprinting and tight maneuvers, the other dominates endurance and sustained speed. Both are formidable, but in different contexts. The J20A may not match the F-22 in every dogfight, but it can now compete in the missions that define modern air combat, where speed, range, and stealth often matter more than acrobatic moves. All the upgrades and powerful engines are impressive, But what really makes this moment historic is the context in which the J20A was photographed. Flying in yellow primer isn't just cosmetic. It signals production or acceptance level testing, a stage that comes after experimental prototypes. Experimental aircraft usually carry heavy instrumentation, unusual markings, or extra sensors to monitor performance. This J20A had none of that. What we see is essentially the fighter, as it would appear in service, being evaluated for real-world readiness. This is a critical shift. China isn't just testing the WS-15 or tweaking aerodynamics anymore. It's assessing whether these aircraft can reliably operate at scale. Why does that matter? Reliability, engine integration, and consistent performance are the backbone of operational combat capability. An aircraft can be technologically advanced, but if it can't fly regularly, maintain engines efficiently, or handle extended missions, it remains a theoretical weapon. The production-level J20A suggests China is moving into a phase of operational scaling, preparing these fighters for real deployment rather than laboratory testing. Think of it like the difference between a concept car and a fleet-ready vehicle. The concept car demonstrates ideas and possibilities. The fleet-ready version proves you can mass-produce it, maintain it, and use it in the real world. This is exactly what the yellow-primed J20A represents, a tangible shift in China's air power credibility. So, what does all of this mean? The J20A flying with the WS-15 engine isn't just another upgrade, it's a major milestone. The combination of a refined airframe, a powerful new engine, and production-level readiness marks the moment when China's fifth-generation fighter program moves from experimentation into real operational credibility. This development narrows key gaps with Western fighters, particularly in sustained speed, range, and mission flexibility. While the F-22 still holds advantages in agility and thrust vectoring maneuvers, the J-20A is now a credible player in long-range, high-speed, and stealth-focused missions. In essence, fifth-generation competition isn't just about stealth anymore. It's about the complex integration of airframe, propulsion, avionics, and operational reliability. Looking ahead, the true test will be how these aircraft are deployed, maintained, and integrated into real-world missions. The yellow-primed photo gives us a glimpse, but the coming years will reveal the full impact on the balance of air power in the Asia-Pacific and beyond. So here's the question to leave you with. If a single image can reveal this much, what will the next decade of Chinese aviation unveil? Keep watching, because the story of the J20A is far from over, and every new development could redefine modern air combat as we know it.